Hello, football fans, and welcome to the N podcast. Now then, Manchester United humbled at home to Tottenham yesterday. Let's pick the bones out of that one. All right then, guys, welcome back. And don't really know what to say. Manchester United yesterday, first real test of the season against one of the established Big Six when they welcomed Jose Mourinho and Tottenham to Old Trafford. And I don't think anyone could foresee what was to unravel as the game went on. Absolutely crazy to think about it. And yeah, Manchester United won, Tottenham Hotspur 6. Now, there's a term that goes around in football called a coupon buster. And I think that must have been one of them. What do you put it down to, North?
I don't think the red card had that much of an impact as what some people may come out and say. At the end of the day, they lost a striker. Okay, you're gonna lose that kind of potency up front, and you're maybe not gonna create as many chances as you normally would, or probably score the goals. So I don't think the red card paid that much of an impact. Just because you've gone down to 10 men doesn't excuse you for the fact that you're going to get battered 6-1. I think Man U were just exposed. I just think they're exposed for what they really are. Maguire's, we've said this many times before, he's not an 80 million defender. Okay, he doesn't ask for the price tag, but, he's not as good as what some people seem to think he is. We had that on first hand. And he's centre-back partner yesterday, was it Eric Bailly yesterday? Mm-hmm. Again, I don't rate him. Lindelof, I don't rate him. Luke Shaw, I don't rate him. I like Wan-Bissaka. That's about the only player that I do like in that back line. So I think they were just exposed for what they were. And Bruno Fernandes has been brought in towards the back end of last season to create the chances. He's not really got underway this season as such. Pogba seems to just be strolling around like he's not really focused. He doesn't seem to be up for the challenge. Mason Greenwood struggled to get going. There seems to be a problem at Manchester United at the moment, and they have spells where they play really well, and people get onto the high horse and think United's back, and then they have a result like they did yesterday, where they get an absolute tonking, and it's back down to reality. What do I put it down to? I honestly couldn't tell you. Spurs were fantastic. They were Mourinho really did his own work. One key stat that stood out for me was Harry Kane already this season has managed to get 6 assists in his first 4 games, which beats his total of only 2 assists in 29 last year. So already Mourinho's changing the way Harry Kane likes to play. He's getting him to drop a little bit deeper, pick the ball up and look for the players running off him, which Son seems to be absolutely relishing and enjoying that sort of role. So fair play to Tottenham. They've gone to Old Trafford. They've not gone there. They've not sat back. They've not tried to play the suck them in and hit them on the counter-attack type of football. They've dominated from the word go. From the first kick, they have dominated from the first minute to the 90th minute. And I honestly do not know what to put it down to apart from the fact that Manchester United were just poor. There's nothing else really that you could honestly say.
Well, Manchester United did get a penalty inside, I think, 30 seconds. So they had the perfect foundation to build off. But I think what you're saying is correct. Tottenham, even when it was 11v11, Tottenham were flying forward, creating chances. And red cards do change games. But when you lose a man, like I said, when you lose a man, if anything, it can make it more difficult for teams to break you down. But Manchester United just capitulated.
They did.
Which is a very worrying sign.
They did, and I watched the game, and they didn't look dangerous going forward. It was just aimless balls into Rashford, and he didn't have anyone around him. It was easy pickings for Tottenham. It really was easy pickings. It was schoolboy defending at times. There was a chance There was a moment towards the end of the game where I think it's Lucas Moura. He's bearing down on goal. And all Luke Shaw can do is chop him down. Now, you'd argue, say, it could be dangerous play and maybe he should have seen a red. Maybe it'd be harsh. You only seen a yellow. But, that's all he could do. That's all he could resort to was chopping him down. It really poor defending. They opened up ever so easy, for Aurier's goal. It was just basic, really basic. I really don't know what to put it down to. I've if you look at the score lines across the whole weekend, there were some real shockers. Goals flying in all over the place. Is it a lack of motivation? Is it complacency? Is it down to the fact that there's no one in the stadium, so there's no pressure, which you'd probably think has got the opposite effect? But, are these defenders a little bit too complacent? They're not worried because, and not just defenders, I suppose, probably the whole team as a whole. They're just not concerned about conceding these type of goals because there's no one there to kind of get on the back. Would you do it in front of 50,000 fans? I don't think you would. So, I think it's just overall, Man United were just really, really poor, and we've got the stats here to kind of back that up. And the stats they go along the lines of Manchester United had 38% possession to Tottenham Hotspur's 62. United only managed 5 shots in total to Tottenham's 22. In that 5, United only hit the target twice. Spurs hit the target 8 times. Big chances created, United just the 1, Tottenham Hotspur 7. Key passes, Tottenham Hotspur were a million miles away from Man United with 18 to United's 4. And obviously, the key talking point of the game in itself was the red card. United with a 1 red card, obviously to Tottenham Hotspur's 0. Do you think the red card played that much of a part?
It shouldn't have played as big a part as it did, because Manchester United should have been more resilient, having gone down to 10 men. I mean, they should have adapted better. I mean, the fact they got the red card, I mean, they just capitulated at the seams. Yeah. When that happened, they capitulated. But it shouldn't have had that much of an effect as it did.
No.
I mean, it did change the game, and we'll talk about the red card incident because there will be United fans, screaming it was never a red card, and it wasn't. No. Well, if it is a red card, you send them both off. I mean, they're both as bad as each other. I mean, if Martial goes down and rolls around on the floor like Lamela did, then does Lamela go? Potentially. And as the instigator, Lamela, he's antagonised Martial by, hitting him first. So it doesn't sit well with me that was a red card only for Anthony Martial. And you touched on the Luke Shaw on Lucas Moura tackle. I mean, there was no attempt for the ball there. He just swipes his legs. Is that not classed as, is that reckless, violent conduct? Just intentionally booting somebody. It's certainly far more painful and far more risk averse than just slapping someone on the chin, which is what Anthony Martial did. So no, I think the red card was harsh, but I think United, having gone down to 10 men, they should. I don't know if it's Solskjaer, if it's the attitude, the mentality. Maybe the players are low on confidence. They were 2-1 down at the time, and maybe when that red card, happened, the heads dropped. They thought, oh, here we go again. And I think within a minute of going down to 10 men, it was 3-1. And then 3-1 down against a team like Tottenham with 10 men, it's effectively game over. And the game's only half an hour in.
So where do United go from here? Because obviously today's deadline day, as we're recording this. And they've signed the new left-back, which I believe, has he come from Porto?
Come
from Porto?
Yeah.
They signed the new left-back, which is, good signing. Or so we think it'll be a good signing, yet to be desired. But where do they need to improve? Because at the moment, they're not creating a lot of chances. Against Palace,
no,
they looked, they didn't look good enough. Against Brighton, they got away with murder. Yesterday, they've been hammered. They've been, as people would say, smashed for 6. Now, they brought Ollie in. Obviously, he's been here. Yeah, how long is he? This is his first full season, was it? Or was it second full season?
Full season.
How much longer do they give him? I know he's a United legend, but he's not got a gleaming CV. And at the moment, the players quite obviously don't seem to be buying into the tactics. And if these are his tactics, then he needs to be seriously looked at. So where do United go from here? You can't keep chucking the money around, can you? There comes a point.
Well, Ollie seems to be getting away with murder, in my opinion. Everyone keeps harping on about Manchester United, they need to invest more in the squad. I mean, they've got a world record fee for a centre-half at the back. They paid 50 million for a right-back in Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. They paid, was it 60 million for Fernandes. Yeah. They've not been, on the breadline. They've spent money. Yeah. Just because they haven't recruited well, that's not the board's fault. No. But as is in football, no accountability will land at the players, or it doesn't really seem to land at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this case. It just seems to all fingers get pointed at Ed Woodward and the United board. And their fan, what Man United fans are like, whining and hollering on social media, So I think the club have got to try and appease them this deadline day, and they're going to probably bring in Edison Cavani as well as a striker, which they've needed because they've not replaced Lukaku after 15 months since he left, which is quite an embarrassing transfer policy for a club the size of Manchester United. But no, so I think the main issues where they've got to strengthen is really they need a centre half and probably a striker, or maybe to be fair, they need a couple of centre halves and a striker. They got a left back. I think a centre half was probably more pressing than a left back. I mean, they've got Luke Shaw and they've got Brandon Williams who can play out there. Not the greatest in the world, but I think the main issues land at centre half, and also there's no leaders there. I mean, Harry Maguire walked in and picked up the captain's armband. We'll know for our time at Leicester City when he played for Leicester, he was nowhere near the captaincy.
No.
He was too stupid.
No, never in a million.
Too
never
thick.
in a million years.
Yeah.
As for Tottenham, obviously we've said a lot about United, and people will probably they'll make their own minds up on Manchester United. As for Tottenham, they seem to be really getting the gravy train going now. Mourinho seems to have found the right philosophy and the right kind of system that he wants to use at Tottenham. They've made some good signings. They seem to be really, they were very unlucky against Newcastle last week, may I add. Apart from that result and obviously the opening day, they look like they're starting to pick up a bit of pace. They seem to be getting better and better in all competitions, that is, may I add. I know obviously we're running 4 games in Premier League, but in all competitions, they seem to be picking up pace. And obviously with Harry Kane, as we've mentioned previous, he's not just recognised as a goal scorer now. He seems to be, picking up them assists that they were lacking severely when Eriksen left. So, can he... And he's never going to be a Cameron. I'm not saying he will be. He's not going to be playing that position. But him kind of dropping off and changing that style, could that kind of fill the void that Eriksen left?
Well, one thing with Harry Kane is he's technically superb and he's got the ability to drop off, sit in a pocket and let his runners go. I mean, I think Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are just genuinely world-class talents. And if you throw Gareth Bale into that mix, potentially, if Gareth Bale can come back and be 80% of the player that he was before he left Tottenham, I mean, that's 3 genuinely world-class forwards, and I don't think anyone else in the league has got. That's probably the strongest front 3 in the league.
Yeah, right,
if Bale's on Son and Kane. I mean, people will go on about Liverpool, Salah, Firmino, Mane. I think that Spurs front 3 is better. I think that Spurs front 3. I think Harry Kane's the most natural goal scorer in the league. I think Son, he just looks incredible, absolutely incredible. And if Bale can come back and have the desired effect that Tottenham fans will be hoping for, the Premier League no one seems to be grabbing the Premier League by the scruff of the neck this season.
No.
And if Spurs get their shit together, I mean, Aurier, even players who've been there, Aurier yesterday, his best game in a Tottenham shirt. Højbjerg, people had question marks over him signing. Ran the midfield. Absolutely superb. After a shaky start to the season, obviously losing the first game, Spurs, they probably look in good a shape or as good shape as any other team in the league.
Do you think the season could, because the season as it started seems to be absolutely bizarre, bonkers. Do you think it could open up for Spurs to maybe take advantage? And I know it's very early on, and let's not get carried away, Tottenham Hotspur fans. But do you think it could open up for them to potentially put a title challenge? They've got the right. I think
they'll win. I think they'll win a trophy. I mean, they're in 4 competitions, so Carabao, FA Cup, Premier League, and Europa League. I'm pretty certain they will win a trophy. I'm not going to put my hat on the ring and say which one, but with obviously the master of winning things there, Jose Mourinho. I think this will be the year Tottenham do get their hands on some silverware.
Yeah. No, as you were saying just about Højbjerg, he was fantastic yesterday. I'd like to just mention him. That pass he played in for Aurier for that was it the 6th goal, maybe the 5th goal? I think the 5th goal, wasn't it? The vision, and let's bear in mind that he was renowned at Southampton as a little bit of a holding midfielder, to break up the play and give it to someone like Ward-Prowse or whoever was in front of him to kind of do that, the dirty, not the dirty work as such, but the creativity,
the enforcer role he had.
He seemed to be higher up the pitch for Tottenham yesterday, and he got involved, and some of his passing was fantastic. It was up there with some of the best. But just before we kind of sign off, I thought, for Tottenham to go to Old Trafford, I know it was an empty Old Trafford and it's probably not the fortress that it once was, but to go there and dominate from start to finish, to create the chances that they did, to stick 6 past them, I think that's a real sign that Tottenham could do something this season, and I think United, they're in a world of bother. They really are. And I know the fans, they probably want Ollie to get the best out of them. They probably want the fairy tale story, but I don't think he's the man. I never have, and I don't think I ever will. And yesterday, I think yesterday could be the start of a real long old season for Manchester United. I really do.
Right then, on that positive bombshell, we shall end the video. So yeah, that was us breaking down yesterday's game at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 6. A real statement of intent there by Jose Mourinho and Tottenham. But yeah, thank you for joining
No
me,
problem
North.
at all, mate. No problem.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because we see the figures and we know you're watching and we know you're not subscribed. So get your finger out your arse and hit that subscribe button.
Take no offence to that.
But thanks as always.
Thank
Take
you.
care, one and all.